because I think the taunting rule sucks. I don't like to use the R word much anymore. One R word I love to use, but I don't like to use racist much anymore because the word's been just completely stripped of all meaning and has been applied to everything. When everything's racist, nothing's racist. But I think the taunting rule is racist in the NFL. Only black players are going to get penalties for that shit. Let's be real. And as everything progresses in society, everything gets more progressive and stuff like that. You're like, oh, we need to add this taunting rule. It never made sense to me. Doesn't make sense. It sucks. It is a way to make sure spreads cover, though. Stay woke. Stay woke. It isn't. Watch that Tampa Bay Philly game. Not this week, not week 7 Thursday, week 6 Thursday, where they played the Eagles. That was covered by a taunting and a 2-point conversion. Stay woke. Stay woke. That was a backdoor Eagles cover. Anyways, I think they should substitute the taunting rule with you're not allowed on a regular turnover, non-pick six, non-defensive touchdown. If you just can make a regular interception and your team celebrates in the end zone, 15-yard penalty. Fuck you. I hate that shit. I hate it. It's just a fucking interception. It's cool. Celebrate in the middle of the field. I don't care. Stop going to the end zone and doing the team photo. It sucks. You're basic bitch celebration. Fuck off. Okay, everybody, welcome to RC Sports. RC Sports, it's in the game. Today I have an interesting theory I want to go with. It's not a theory, but just something I've noticed as I get older and become one of those sports used to be this, sports used to be that kind of guys. And, the stuff I hated when I was growing up, when someone said, oh, man, before they had the 3-point line in the NBA, before they had before you could dunk in the NBA, it was better. And you shut up. You tell your grandpa that, your uncle that, your dad that, oh man, baseball, man, guys used to never pimp home runs. And you're just you are a product of the area you grow up in, unless you pursue the history of the sport that you love, you know what I mean, and maybe find out that maybe it did used to be better. Maybe you confirm that it's not, that it's better today. So I'm at Glen Rockney. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're watching right now. This is RC Sports. If you're a Raider fan, you should definitely subscribe. I got all types of Raider content here, but for the most part, this is a YouTube-only show, RC Sports. Before I get into my theory about why sports are just a bit different nowadays, let's talk about week 7 in the NFL. You're talking to a 5-2 fantasy owner here, just in case you care. Derrick Henry, MVP of the league, MVP of fantasy history, in my opinion. But a lot of cool stuff happening. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? Let's talk about them for a sec. Jamar Chase, unreal. Trolled us in the offseason. Absolutely trolled us. Oh, man, the football's got different color, doesn't have the white stripes on there, so I can't see when the quarterback throws a spiral. He was alligator arming during the preseason. He was just making business decisions in the preseason. And the guy's got over, 700 yards now, on pace to break Randy Moss's record. Now, here's the problem with sports nowadays. You add a 17th game to the NFL, records don't matter anymore. And it is a passing league. Jamar Chase may break Randy Moss's record, may not, but may break Randy Moss's record. The record belongs to Moss. Like if we're talking to people who witnessed Randy Moss's rookie year, I was young, but it was electric. It was electric. The Vikings were like a pass heavy team. They had Michael Bennett, I believe, as their running back. Robert Smith for a while, but they had those guys back there, but they were like kind of a 2021 team in the late 2000s. Best offense, it's probably second best offense I've seen besides the greatest show on turf. When you just talked about teams that could run it at you, throw to the running backs, great wide receivers, great quarterback, great offensive line. And when, I think it matters when you can basically put the receiver into a coma at any time. I think that matters. Jamar Chase, for the most part, doesn't have to worry about getting his, was that Rock'em Sock'em Robots where when you beat the robot, the head flies off? Like, he didn't have to worry about that. Yeah, Ronnie Lott wasn't as big as, safeties nowadays, but Ronnie Lott was allowed to basically slit your throat when you came over the middle. I understand why that rule exists now. I mean, I think we've grown too far in the evolution of athleticism. And again, kind of giving a teaser to what I'm going to talk about later. But are the Bengals for real? It's tough to say they're not. As long as their defense holds up, I think they are. The AFC is awesome this year. And I'm saying this as a Raider fan, where I think the Raiders and the Bengals are kind of that, both of those teams where people are like, do I want to get emotionally invested in those two teams? Do I want to say these two teams are going to be playoff teams? Do I want to say these are the two wild cards or maybe even division winners? I understand the hesitancy. I'm hesitant on both of them. But it's tough to say that they aren't equipped to contend down the stretch. Joe Burrow's playing real well. I have a friend named Marcus Johnson who's been on the show, Alpha Beta Index Rankings of NFL head coach. If you've been watching RC Sports for a while, he has a theory that Joe Burrow does not have they call him baby arm Burrow, some guys, and he might not have the arm strength to cut through that Cincinnati wind in December. We didn't see him play in December last year. Got hurt. So we'll have to see. Now, the problem is Joe Mixon's going off. Their O-line's okay, not great. There's definitely weak links on there. But he has CJ Uzoma, tight end, went off, and he's athletic. This isn't the first time. He got hurt last year. I think we're starting to see CJ Uzoma become a pretty good tight end, and it's a weak time for tight ends in the NFL. In a league where you pass all the time, we're not very deep at tight end in the NFL. I mean, you got guys like Dawson Knox cracking like the top 8 tight ends in the league, this year. But the Bengals have Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon. I mean, that's a good offense, man. And what the Ravens did this week, and I was shocked. I bet on the Ravens -6. I thought that was pretty close to a lock, to be honest. I thought this would be the game where Joe Burrow or like the Bengals, where we just go, all right, not so fast, right? I thought that was what we were going to say about the Bengals on the hot start. But what the Ravens do is they play a lot of man coverage. They blitz a lot, and they just press the wide receivers. And it really worked against Justin Herbert. But I'd argue that the Chargers receivers are a bit overrated, and the Bengals receivers are very much top. If they're not top 5, they're top 7 or 8 in the league, the core itself. And you can't just get up and press these guys. They will beat you. You're not allowed to maul the guys, like maul, you're not allowed to maul people the way you were back then. You'll get an illegal contact. And you saw them get exposed, and they couldn't tackle. I mean, it was a 3rd and 2 where Jamar Chase turned a first down into a 82-yard touchdown or whatever the hell it was. So the Bengals for now are for real. I'll say that, because I have my reservations about the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a boom or bust team. I don't know how sustainable what they do is. I think they're very matchup based. And I think Lamar, for what he is, like he's great. He's electric. And I think when a bad team gets a lead on him, you can almost sense Lamar's going to come back and win this game. But when a good team gets a lead on him, they can make Lamar look stupid. He fumbles. He's careless with the ball sometimes. And the Ravens try to turn him into a pocket passer for whatever reason. Sometimes the Ravens just sit there and they go, hey, we're going to run, we're going to treat you like Peyton Manning, and we're going to, and I'm kind of contradicting what I'm going to say later in the show, but when you have a certain guy, like, let him be that guy if that's who you're invested in. And they're on the cusp of having to pay Lamar Jackson. And I will say this, if the Bengals defense holds up, they win that division. I'm not worried about their offense, even though with Burrow, the arm strength thing, it'll be something to see. But I think they can run the ball. I think they can get short passes going for Burrow. I think their wide receivers can create yards after the catch. I don't see the same thing from the Ravens. Now, if the Ravens running backs were healthy, I'd definitely give them the edge in that. But yeah, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. AFC West, right? AFC West. My Raiders, top of the division. I'm taking a picture of that because might not last long. No, I'm actually pretty optimistic about the Raiders now that they shed John Gruden. If you watch the last episode, I don't like the ethics of the way John Gruden was fired, but I do like that he's not the coach of my team. It's very much a hedge, very much a bargain on my part, but it is what it is. Rich Bisaccia has these guys playing with amazing energy. They're not running the ball well, although it does look better. It looked pretty good against the Eagles. The run game, Josh Jacobs keeps getting hurt all the time. Offensive line's still not great in pass protection, but they're getting rid of the ball quick. The Raiders can beat you with the big play, and they can paper cut you to death on offense. Derek Carr's playing at a very high level. All the shilling I did for him in the offseason's paid off. Again, Rock Vegas podcast is on this YouTube channel if you want to. Some people aren't even Raider fans, and they like that show. I'm like, that's crazy. I could probably never listen to like a full podcast on just a team I don't like, even though I love the NFL and I watch all teams. It's crazy to sit down and be like, I'm going to watch this guy talk for 45 minutes to an hour about this team I don't have any vested interest in. But I guess I take it as a compliment at that point. But the Raiders on defense are getting pressure. Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby are doing really well. Coverage-wise, they're not giving up a lot in the back end. They're not giving up big plays. They will allow yards on the ground. It drives me insane. They will allow underneath completions, but they make tackles. They got some hard hitters, and they got guys that strip the ball. They've been creating turnovers. They had 4 turnovers against the Broncos. They had 2 turnovers last week. They've created 1. They've had 1 turnover on offense the last 2 weeks. So we're talking about 6-to-1 turnover ratio the last 2 weeks. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games. And it helps that the Chiefs aren't playing well right now. I'm not ready to call them dead. You don't call that dead. I see people taking the victory lap, kind of like those people all carrying the coffin, that gif where they're dancing while carrying the coffin. Nah, not yet. But we're on the cusp of it. Very close to it. Chiefs are soft. The Chiefs are soft. I had no idea why they were favorites against the Tennessee Titans. They were at home. I get that. Or I'm sorry, Tennessee was at home. That's why I didn't get it. Tennessee was at home, and I think it was Chiefs by 5.5. I took the money line earlier in the week because I had a feeling it would go towards the line would swing towards KC. So I took it earlier in the week, and I got plus 200 for the Titans money line. It was the easiest bet I've ever made in my life. Tennessee's just more physical. You can be a finesse team, but when on defense, you can't be a finesse defense. You got to be physical on defense. They have nothing on defense. Chris Jones is good. Tyrann Mathieu good. Nobody else is good. They keep touting this guy, Nick Bolton, on their guy, who I liked in the draft, but he's just a classic thumper linebacker. In coverage, lost. He's a rookie. Maybe he'll develop it, but lost in coverage. They have nothing. Daniel Sorensen, they're going to have to make a huge trade. And I would if I were them. I would trade for like 3 or 4 different guys. I'd trade some like 4th, 5th, 6th round picks for just guys that I think are okay on other teams and just try to like fill out that roster on defense because it's real bad. And Pat Mahomes isn't playing well. I'll get to that later because I don't want to spoil that now. But then you have the Chargers in that division. I still think the Chargers are a little bit better than the Raiders. It hurts to say. I think they just have better star power on their team. I think the Raiders are missing that difference maker on defense. Make your Khalil Mack jokes all you want. I don't care. Bears suck. But they don't have that difference maker on defense. Chargers have Joey Bosa and Derwin James. They just have those 2 guys, just like how the Rams have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. When you're having a tough game, you have guys that just make plays. And, Justin Herbert's really good. Their wide receivers are solid. I think they're overrated. I think Keenan Allen's overrated. I think Mike Williams is overrated. Austin Eckler's really good. Jared Cook's good. And their offensive line, Rashawn Slater, looks like he's going to be a left tackle for a long time in this league. And they look good. But I still think the Raiders and the Bengals are for real in the AFC. I think they're for real. I think they're for real till they're not, and that doesn't sound like a very strong take, but um you can't write them off yet, because if you're just over here, oh, the Chiefs are going to come back. I don't know. I don't know about that. Or, oh, the Steelers are going to come back and take out the Bengals. Yeah, no, it's not going to be that. Both these teams are head to head. Chargers and Raiders head to head until until the Chiefs actually die a slow death. They play the Raiders in 3 weeks, so we'll see. But it's Bengals and Ravens. Even the Browns, like, that's a tough division, but Browns got a lot to figure out too. So I think they are. I think both those teams are for real right now. Let's pivot to the NFC. Really, really love what I've seen of the Arizona Cardinals. They started out slow against the Texans, and that's fine. I mean, they came back and still won that game. They covered the spread, 17.5 points. Absolute Chad champions there on that one, unlike the Rams, who couldn't cover the 15-point spread. I'll never forget that. But the NFC's loaded too. I mean, there's a lot of parity in the NFL now, which I love, because the Chiefs were expected to be this juggernaut that nobody could beat for the next 10 years. But with the NFL and free agency, I hate seeing guys change uniforms every year, but it does make for a very, good competitive league. But in the NFC, you have Arizona, and Arizona's the best team. Why can't people just say they're the best team? Nobody wants to admit it, that they're the best team in the NFL or in the NFC. I still think the Bills will end up being the best team in the NFL. But even right now, I'd say that the Cardinals are better than them right now. I think the Bills, when the weather turns, that's when you start seeing the Bills, personally. But for right now, Cardinals are the best team in the NFL. I think they hopped above the Bills in my power rankings that I did 2 weeks ago. And they're great. I mean, the only team, like, I like the Rams. I like them a lot. My dad's a huge fan. I watch a lot of their games. I have a vested interest in them. The Rams just traded Kenny Young, their linebacker, who's solid, good starting linebacker. Second on the team leading tackles. I know tackles don't really mean anything in the NFL anymore. It's usually much more in-depth analytics on how you can be a good defender than that. But they just traded away one of their starting linebackers. Now, Rams Twitter, Rams blogs, I've been doing the deep dive. This is what I do as Glen Rockney. I do the deep dive so you don't have to on other teams' blogs and stuff. They were saying that another big trade's coming, and maybe so. But even they know they got to get a little bit better to be better. The Cardinals boat raced them. I mean, that first game in LA. So the only other team, I still think Dallas is really good. People have questions about their defense. They give up yards. Trevon Diggs is a hilarious corner. You ask Cowboy fans what they think of Trevon Diggs. They think he's Deion Sanders reincarnated, Darrelle Revis, all those shutdown corners. But he gives up a lot of yards, man. Like, that guy gives up a lot of yards, but he makes the big play. To me, he's more like and this is good. I don't want this to sound like I hate him. He's really good. He's a second-round pick in his second year, having 7 interceptions, 6, 7 interceptions, a couple touchdowns, more touchdowns than his brother, Stephon Diggs. But that defense can get gashed, I think. Now, when they get DeMarcus Lawrence back and they get these guys back, like, that's not nothing. Micah Parsons looks phenomenal. But I will say the Cowboys on offense, I think they have the best offense in the game right now. I do. In the NFL, even better than the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals on defense are really making waves with that defense, where that's what puts them ahead as a team. I trust the Cardinals defense more than I trust the Cowboys defense, but I trust the Cowboys offense more than anybody else in the league. Dak Prescott is fantastic. Fantastic. Has been for a long time. There's a problem where it kills me as a Raider fan. People who listen to my Raider show have probably heard this a million times. One of the worst picks the Raiders have done in the last few years. There's the highly publicized Cleveland Ferrell, Jamarcus Russell, all those picks. No. In the 4th round of the 2016 draft, the Cowboys missed out because the Raiders traded up ahead of them. The Cowboys missed out on Connor Cook, quarterback out of Michigan State. He's not in the league anymore. He sucks. He started the only Raider game in the Raider playoff game in the last 20 years, but he sucks. And the Cowboys had to settle in the 4th round for Dak Prescott. It's a study behind Tony Romo. Raiders make that pick, then who knows where we're at right now. I still love the way Derek Carr's playing, but there would have been a lot of years of bad Carr that maybe a good Dak would have helped out. But nonetheless, Dak's playing phenomenal. CeeDee Lamb's great. Mari Cooper's really good. Dalton Schultz is a good tight end. Offensive line is back, healthy. Zeke Elliott, beast. Tony Pollard, beast. That's a tough one to stop. They can go win in the snow if they have to, in my opinion. They could just run the ball down your throat and you can't do anything about it in the snow. And then they have a smart quarterback. Not giving away what I'm saying later. Dak Prescott, maybe my favorite quarterback in the NFL. Just the way he plays. I think he's so good. But yeah, it's wild. And you got teams, like I said, Cowboys were on a bye this week. Chargers were on a bye this week. We had a lot of teams on byes this week. It's kind of why I won my fantasy matchup this week. I didn't draft any of the guys that had byes this week. But the guy I was playing this week had like 4 of his top 5 players on byes. Not my problem. So yeah, no, it's NFL season's been really good. I will say bet against the Chiefs. Bet against the Chiefs until Vegas figures it out. If you see the Chiefs as a favorite, take the other team covering at least. They're favored right now, 10 points over the Giants. I hammered the Giants already, 10 plus 10. I understand that the Chiefs beat Washington by double digits the other week, but Danny Dimes ain't playing bad, man. He's not playing bad for most of the season, and I telling you, man, if the Chiefs lose to the Giants, they are done. Done. D-U-N. They're done. So yeah. Hey, NFL season, we're starting to get to that we're starting to get to the point where we know about these certain teams. But what I really wanted to get to is talking about why sports aren't as good as they used to be. There's a lot of things people say. Last episode, I talked about the sports writing, right? Sports writing, where it's all about politics. It's very narrative based. It's this guy supports BLM, therefore he's a good quarterback. This guy doesn't support BLM, therefore he's terrible. And even if he does play well, I can chalk that up to coaches being able to coach him because he's white, and coaches coach white players better. Like you see all these mental gymnastics, 5D chess. Who gives a shit? It's football. Fuck off. Go right for BuzzFeed. Okay, we talked about that. But here's the reason why I think these two sports now suck, and it's affecting the third sport. I won't specify that now. Let's start with football. The reason, and I don't think football sucks. I love football. I live and breathe it. It's my favorite thing to pay attention to, even more so than the coronavirus. But my favorite thing to pay attention to is football, and I love it. But I'd be lying to say that there aren't glaring issues with the way the sport is played now. For one, you have too many flags, way too many flags. Defenders are not allowed to play defense, and it has nothing to do with CTE. It has more to do with points than it does CTE. CTE is a huge cope. It's the way that we have TSA because of 9/11, like just TSA, reaching up your asshole to hopefully they can find a gel that explodes up your ass because of something that happened in 2001, which we know how that happened. And the way I say there's too many flags, but the quarterback position is very interesting right now. We're at a very weird crossroads at the quarterback position. And I'll tell you right now, I blame Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is very good. He's in a tough stretch right now. He's very good. Very good. He will probably be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He will be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Already has a ring. He's a beast. The problem is everyone's trying to find Patrick Mahomes. Even Patrick Mahomes is trying to be Patrick Mahomes, if that makes any sense. If you watch Patrick Mahomes play, he does not just take his check down. He'll have a guy open for 5 yards on first down. Nope. Going to go run around. No look pass. Going to try to hit Travis Kelce on a no look pass across the field late with the DB there. Ends up throwing it over his head, throwing a pick, something like that. It's as if Patrick Mahomes is trying to create an Instagram clip or a GIF rather than win a football game. I think Patrick Mahomes is trying to win the football game, but I'm saying I think he bought into his own hype a little bit. And I feel like he thinks his team's so bad that he has to make circus plays for them to win. When really all he has to do is play quarterback for them to at least compete. Right? Don't pass up checkdowns. Patrick Mahomes they drafted a check down in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which everybody remembers my last couple episodes. I talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire being a huge bust. One of the reasons he's a huge bust is because his quarterback doesn't even want to throw to him. I know he's hurt right now. I understand that. But if I'm on first down, I will literally throw to Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the flat if he's as good as I think he is. Let him get 6 yards because it is way harder to stop a pass to a running back than it is to stop just a traditional run up the gut to a running back, unless you have an elite offensive line. The Raiders have been doing that a lot. On the last 2 weeks after Gruden was gone, they would just throw to Kenyon Drake, throw to Josh Jacobs early in the down, let them catch and run, get a head start. And they're tough, and they're already near the sideline. They can get out of bounds, preserve their health. It's great. But Patrick Mahomes has to make the big play all the time. I got to make the big play. And I got to do these bad commercials if I'm Patrick Mahomes. These horrible commercials, man. It's really bad when the best player in the league is not charismatic. And I think he's a psyop, man. The more I look at like Patrick Mahomes, and I loved him in college. I used to make a lot of money off of Texas Tech overs, big time, Big 12, 65-point overs, crushing them. Loved it. Amazing time in my life. But that guy is not charismatic. Stop putting him on TV. That one where he's the hipster buying shoes off the State Farm guy, it's one of the worst commercials I've ever seen. Yeah, man, can I please have some, please? Can I please have a, well, I don't know how he talks, something like that. Just some stupid voice. Let me have some shoe. Can I have the Patrick discount? Like, shut up. Fuck. Here's why he's a real psyop. Look at his brother. Just TikTok dances all day. There's a video that was just coming out with him, his brother after a loss, like TikTok dancing next to him at a table. Man, fuck that. Fuck that. But Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't really play quarterback anymore. What people loved about Patrick Mahomes is that he could make the exceptional off-schedule play where he'd run out of the pocket, throw it if he had to. He did it in the Super Bowl against the Niners, one of the best throws I've seen again to Tyreek Hill down the field. Really brought the Chiefs back in the game. They were dead in that game. The Niners were taking pictures of their team celebration in the end zone. Quick side note. I think that should be illegal. I would like to replace the taunting rule in the NFL because I think the taunting rule sucks. I don't like to use the R word much anymore. One R word I love to use, but I don't like to use racist much anymore because the word's been just completely stripped of all meaning and has been applied to everything. When everything's racist, nothing's racist. But I think the taunting rule is racist in the NFL. Only black players are going to get penalties for that shit. Let's be real. And as everything progresses in society, everything gets more progressive and stuff like that. You're like, oh, we need to add this taunting rule. It never made sense to me. Doesn't make sense. It sucks. It is a way to make sure spreads cover, though. Stay woke. Stay woke. It isn't. Watch that Tampa Bay Philly game. Not this week, not week 7 Thursday, week 6 Thursday, where they played the Eagles. That was covered by a taunting and a 2-point conversion. Stay woke. Stay woke. That was a backdoor Eagles cover. Anyways, I think they should substitute the taunting rule with you're not allowed on a regular turnover, non-pick six, non-defensive touchdown. If you just get to make a regular interception and your team celebrates in the end zone, 15-yard penalty. Fuck you. I hate that shit. I hate it. It's just a fucking interception. It's cool. Celebrate in the middle of the field. I don't care. Stop going to the end zone and doing the team photo. It sucks. You're basic. It's basic bitch celebration. Fuck off. All right. That's all I'm saying. I think everybody would sign up for that. Either that or just let it all go. I don't care. But if you're going to have some stupid penalty to where some, pencil pusher guy keeps his job in the NFL bureaucracy, let's get rid of that. Okay. Harness it, hone it in on the thing that actually sucks, not the taunting. Who cares? Taunting to me is like home run trotting in baseball. You can police that by throwing at the guy. Taunting in the NFL, light his ass up the next time. Boom, solved. But you can't light people up in the NFL anymore. So I guess that's why we're at the crossroads. But yeah, Mahomes, back to Mahomes. The problem is not Mahomes himself. The problem is that now teams are chasing, trying to find the next Mahomes. You shouldn't try to do that because Patrick Mahomes is unique. He's a unicorn. Okay? He's a Mewtwo, right? You got to have a master ball to catch Mewtwo. Everybody knows that. You don't always have a master ball. You don't have that. Look at this current crop of quarterbacks, and I think it's trickling down. I think this is the Mahomes effect trickling down and reaching a dead end right now. This quarterback class was being compared to the 83 NFL draft with John Elway, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. You're talking about Hall of Famers, guys that won Super Bowls. Guys that, I mean, Dan Marino might have been, I think Dan Marino was probably the best pure quarterback out of those guys and didn't win anything, but still. You have this class now. You have Trey Lance. Mac Jones is playing okay. He's playing solid, right? But he fits the mold of the not chasing unicorns to find a good quarterback, right? Don't chase a unicorn. Don't chase a guy that can run for 72 yards at any given moment or throw a 75-yard deep ball after scrambling for 12 seconds. No. You want to have a guy that makes plays on schedule. You want to have a quarterback that makes the trains run on time. And that's, I guess, I don't know if Mac Jones is ever going to be like a great player or just like this, Pro Bowl Brady level quarterback, but I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think it's pretty safe to say he'll be just solid. Like that's a good floor to say, good bet to make. Trey Lance, though. I like Trey Lance coming out, but you cannot tell me that these people aren't chasing like the Mahomes effect or the Lamar effect. It's Mahomes and Lamar. The Mahomes Lamar effect with Trey Lance. You can't tell me that the 49ers weren't doing that. The 49ers are in a terrible position now because I think they got too greedy trying to find a Patrick Mahomes when they to be real, how much okay, if the Niners actually drafted Mac Jones and people were flaming them for that, NFL in the draft sphere. I was kind of one of them. Like, why would you trade 3 first-round picks to go get Mac Jones? I think they'd have a better record this year if they did. That's all I'm saying. I mean, they want to win now. The Niners aren't a rebuilding team. They're trying to win now. But what the Niners have right now is they have Jimmy Garoppolo, who they traded a second-round pick for because they needed a quarterback. They traded a second-round pick for him. Then they traded 3 first-round picks for a guy who cannot steal the job from Jimmy Garoppolo, who is a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL. They're in a bad situation because they chased unicorns. Trey Lance needs to win now. Trey Lance is not a developmental project. Do not let a Niner fan tell you that. He is not a developmental project. He was supposed to come in right now and rejuvenate them the way Kaepernick did when Alex Smith got injured. That was supposed to be the same thing. And there's no Niner fan that can truly, with a polygraph on them, could say that they thought this is a long-term thing. Nope. Sorry. They needed him to win now. Chasing unicorns. Justin Fields is another guy. Justin Fields, I love Justin Fields coming out. I thought he was great. But woke NFL Twitter needs to chill out about Justin Fields. They called everybody racist for saying he couldn't get past his first read, that he took too long to process things. They thought of that as like, oh, black people are stupid. That was what they thought of that as. Maybe some people did say that for that reason. For other people, no, not true. It's Ohio State quarterbacks. Urban Meyer can't even coach his own team right now in Jacksonville. His offense sucks for them. And he has Trevor Lawrence. His offense sucks. Dwayne Haskins sucks. JT Barrett was not a pro. Ohio State doesn't churn out good quarterbacks. But Justin Fields, his release, it takes forever. It's like Byron Leftwich coming out. It takes forever to get that ball out. That's not really something you're going to have to spend a whole offseason correcting his throwing motion. He holds on to the ball forever. He thinks he has free plays when he doesn't. I understand Matt Nagy's involved on that. I'm not saying that I need to see him isolated from Matt Nagy. I agree. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields. But I think teams are chasing unicorns with these guys. They're chasing the Mahomes effect. I got to find the next Mahomes instead of just finding the next good quarterback that's on a cheap rookie contract. That rookie contract is a golden ticket, Willy Wonka style. When you get that quarterback that's good, even if they're not great, it's good. You are paying that guy bottom tier money to play good football while you can pay wide receivers, pay offensive linemen, pay all these other guys. There's a reason the Browns were good last year. Baker wasn't making a lot of money. Baker's not that good. He's solid. But they were able to pay offensive linemen, pay wide receivers, make a big trade for a wide receiver, pay defensive ends, pay, you're able to accumulate a team. You have to draft well too. I understand that. But if you're chasing the Mahomes, you're not going to find the next Mahomes, right? It's like winning the lottery. And you're not gonna find Mahomes, is what I'm saying. And even Mahomes is having problems. And look at Zach Wilson's another guy. Before I move on, Zach Wilson. It's not a race thing. It's not a race. Oh, Glenn, stop drafting black quarterbacks. Is that what you're saying? No, not at all. Zach Wilson doesn't want to stay in the pocket ever. The Russell Wilson effect. Russell Wilson can sit in the pocket and make a good play. He's deadly when he gets out of the pocket. I agree. Kyler Murray's the same way. He can stay in the pocket and make a good play. But he's deadly when he gets out of the pocket. Zach Wilson only wants to be out of the pocket. He bails on clean pockets. You could see it in his BYU film. He bails on clean pockets. Oh, man, I don't know what to do. Doesn't work in the NFL all the time. You got linebackers that can go get you. They will spy you. They play coverages you didn't see at the fucking Mormon League, dude. I'm sorry. Like you didn't see those in the NFL. There's a reason this doesn't work. Those guys get paid too on defense. And who's the other quarterback? I'm trying to think. There was another quarterback in the draft. There a bunch of them went, but these guys just don't really look all that good. And I think it's because these teams think it's that simple to find a quarterback who can run, find a quarterback with a big arm, run around, buy some time, play backyard football. Dude, it's not backyard football. Defensive coordinators are savants in the league. They will put heat on you. They'll put heat on you. They'll make you see things you never saw before. And what I'm fearful about, to tie this up, I'll move on to basketball in a second, but to tie this all up, I think this is a problem with how you're going to start seeing quarterbacks coming out now, is it affects the college game. When something works in the pro game, colleges then try to match that pro game, especially the quarterback, right? If a quarterback goes to a college, he's a high recruit, he's not thinking about being really good in college. He's thinking about being good in the NFL. So the quarterback position, I think it's safe to say, is you got to be able to make plays in the pocket to be sustainably good. Right? 2003, they figured that out. In year 2000, was it 2000, 2001? Michael Vick was drafted. People figured this out in the NFL. Michael Vick got drafted, set the league on fire. He had his shortcomings. Now, I think people put Michael Vick's career in kind of rose-colored lenses. Lenses. They kind of never see the bad. He made some really bad turnovers, cost his team some games. It happened. I was around during that time. Michael Vick's the best college player I ever saw in my life, and he had one of the coolest rookie seasons I ever saw. And I think he was fantastic, especially the resurgence with Philly. I loved him. Now, if you notice the draft trends, teams called the bluff on Michael Vick. They said, this is a unicorn. We're going to go back to still our regular evaluations because we think that maybe this guy doesn't grow on trees. Because after Michael Vick, you started all the picks: Eli Manning, Carson Palmer, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, guys like that, pocket passers, even Vince Young. I think Vince Young actually could have been a good pocket passer in the league. I think out of his own doing, he was out of there. You know what I mean? Like he just maybe didn't love the game as much as certain guys. But there were these quarterbacks that got drafted, pocket passers, right? It wasn't the league going, we have to find the next Michael Vick, because they understood they wouldn't. But now you're seeing everybody trying to find Patrick Mahomes. It'll correct itself. That's the beauty of sports. Sports are objective. It's not like media where like you'll see a show, a really dumb, woke, like CIA made show that will bomb, right? Not be good, but will still rate well because people feel compelled to support it. It'll get advertised everywhere, and it's too big to fail. And then everybody copies that because like, this is the new success, is being like woke and ingenuine where nobody could ever understand it. And nobody relates to it, but it's still on TV for 10 seasons. The NFL, you got to win. If you don't win, you're out of there. I'm sorry. And that's the beauty. I think NFL will correct itself and get back to quarterbacks who can make plays on schedule, make the trains run on time. And that can be anybody of any race. I just fear that the Patrick Mahomes effect is going to get into college, and you're going to see people like I see Zach Wilson trying to be like Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar just running around, bailing out of clean pockets. Your offensive line don't even know what to do because they don't even know where you're going to be. I think that's why you're seeing guys struggle, because they're just trying to do too much. Even Patrick Mahomes is trying to do too much right now, and that's why they're struggling. Basketball. My gripe with basketball is not that guys aren't good. It's not that a certain position isn't good. I'm wearing a Golden State Warriors shirt right now. I'm a huge Warrior fan. Warriors just beat the Thunder. They started real slow in that game. Weren't shooting well. Better team won, though. Golden State came back, won. Defense looks real good. But I do think Steph Curry really, I won't even say just Steph Curry, but the combination of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry really ruined the NBA. A lot of people say Kevin Durant ruined the NBA by joining the Warriors. Unfair. LeBron started a super team years before in Miami, to where it was just like, if you don't like your situation, just go leave, go to a good one. Like, yeah, whatever. It's like girl boss shit, whatever. Yeah, girl boss. Yeah, you do you. Nevertheless, she persisted. LeBron, like, that's cool. But I think like Curry and Klay Thompson, which I loved, I reaped the rewards of it. I loved it. But as somebody who just loves the sport, do people truly like in the NBA just seeing off the dribble threes all the time? Taking threes early in the shot clock? Fast break. Guys cutting to the basket. Now I'll just take the three. Mid-range jumpers are cool, man. I understand analytically, because maybe analytics are the problem here, but like in basketball, I don't really like analytics that much, because a mid-range jumper's cool. The Kobe post-up mid-range fadeaway, awesome shot. Loved it every moment I saw it. But everybody wants to be Steph Curry now. I have friends who coach like high school basketball, and guys are doing like dumb shit, like trying to do a crossover 3 steps off of the 3-point line, doing a crossover and just hucking up a three and not even drawing iron. And they're like, what are you doing? Oh, this is how you play basketball now. This is what they watch on TV. So for every Steph Curry, you're going to have just somebody who bombs out of the league and sucks. You know? Like, I remember when Lonzo Ball came in the league, and I really like Lonzo Ball a lot. I love the Ball family. Ball family supremacy. Love them. LaMelo's a beast, and I think Lonzo's really good with Chicago. Lonzo was forced to be a like shooting point guard because that's just the way the league is now. But Lonzo's best when he's driving and kicking, drive and kick, run the floor, playing good defense, great defender, playing good defense, running the floor, savant with the brain, finding the open guy. Nah, but instead they're like, no, shoot the ball with your weird ass shot shooting motion. For square peg, round hole. We got to do it because we need the next Steph Curry. You don't have it all the time. Trying to find the next like Kyle Lowry is a lot easier than finding the next Steph Curry, right? And when you have prime Kyle Lowry, I think you can win if you got all your other affairs in order. But last year the Warriors only had Steph Curry. They were an 8 seed. All he was able, yeah, he was. Hey, you watch a Steph Curry highlight compilation last year, you think the Warriors won the finals. They didn't. They didn't. I mean, he had some incredible highlights last year, and he was good. I mean, he was good. He might have had his best season, regular season. He was amazing last year. He was carrying him in a lot of those wins, but it just wasn't enough. I miss the back to the basket game. I miss that. I understand it's not as efficient. I understand that there were lower scoring games in the 90s, early 2000s. But is there not a clever medium between like shooting threes and having your back to the basket? Is there not just a medium we could find there where I have guys that could shoot, but I also have a guy that maybe when the shots aren't falling, I could just toss down in the low post and tell him to go get me a bucket? That's frowned upon now in the NBA. Analytically, it doesn't check out. It's just, oh my God, are you still shooting mid range? Like, yeah, I am, you nerd. Look at Kawhi Leonard. That year, Toronto beat the Warriors with Kawhi Leonard. He would just pull up from mid range. It was automatic. Automatic. And even when the Warriors were winning finals, they had Sean Livingston, who had this one shot where it was a post fadeaway. It was only a 2-point shot, not an efficient shot. Only layups and threes, bro. Nope. Sean Livingston had, I swear to God, he was making that shot at like 70%. And that really helps out when your team's cold. But no, you are seeing guys come into the league trying to be Steph Curry, trying to shoot off the dribble with a hand in their face for three. There's only one Wardell Curry. Some will say Trae Young's the next one. We'll see. We'll see. They didn't crown Steph that early. That's all I'm saying. But it's the way I liken it, just to wrap this up with Mahomes and Curry. The way I wrap this up is sometimes the end result of a 3-point shot or a crazy touchdown isn't worth the ripple effect that takes over the league where everybody does an uglier version of that. It doesn't make for a fun product to watch. It's kind of like when you're a kid, and I'm old, so I'm in my 30s. So back in the day, you used to have this thing called Game Shark when you had a game that you couldn't beat. It was a Game Shark. You'd slap it on there. It'd give you the cheat codes, strategy guides, shit like that, and you could beat the game. But then your friends would call you a pussy for doing it with the Game Shark. Right now, what I'm seeing is having these cheat code players would be like if everybody had a Game Shark for the game and everybody just beat the game, and it just didn't mean anything to beat the game. It was like, oh yeah, you beat the game. That's okay. You followed the directions. Fantastic, dude. So, am I against 3-pointers? No. Am I against mobile quarterbacks? No, I love them. I'm a fan of Derek Carr. I wish Derek Carr had a little more juice in his legs. He doesn't. But I think, you see with teams in the NFL, like the Tennessee Titans, they can get physical on you. They cause these teams trouble. And I want it to swing back the other way. And I want to find that happy medium in run the football, physical football, and throwing the ball deep and having a quarterback when you need that play. The same way that when Kobe needed to score, hey, man, fuck the triangle offense. Toss the ball to Kobe, see what he can do. Then that's when you see the unicorn come out. Rather than, oh, it's 1st and 10 in the second quarter. Unicorn mode. Oh, no, he threw an interception. Or, oh, man, off the dribble three when you're shooting, 17% from three for the game. Oh, man, rattled off the rim. Oh, no, now a fast break for the other team. It's not that fun to watch. And both of those sports made baseball not fun to watch at all for a lot of people. I only watch my A's, man, to be honest. I watch a little bit of the World Series here and there, like in big games, but I really watch my A's because sports now are about instant gratification. It's all about first downs, touchdowns, 3-pointers, dunks. If that ain't happening, and that doesn't happen in baseball, there ain't enough home runs to keep people's attention. There's a lot of slow time. You kind of miss the art of the game when all you're looking for is splash plays. YOLO shit is what they're doing. Like YOLO. Fuck it, just fuck it ball. And it's, look, it's entertaining when it works. I'll never say otherwise, but it's typically not a sustainable way to run a team. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Fun episode this week. If you are a basketball fan that wants to come on this podcast, I'll be glad to do a basketball episode with you. I could talk football by myself all the time, no problem. Hey, to be fair, if you're a football guy, come on the show. If you think you can, hey, this is an open forum. If you are a football guy that wants to talk football, come on. But for basketball, I need a basketball person to come on. I'll talk some basketball with you. Gonna do some college football coming up too. Getting ready for the college football playoff, and all that stuff. Definitely gonna, getting down the home stretch of college football, stuff like that. That's gonna be coming up soon. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm Glen Rockney. I have another podcast called Rare Candy. That one's not on this YouTube channel. That's on Rumble because we say too many bad words. Follow at Rare Candy Pod 1 on Twitter. The link is in the bio for everything you can see on there. If you just follow me at Glen Rockney, that's just gonna be all sports stuff. That's all it is. Very separate. Got to keep them separated. Shout out the offspring. And yeah, that's it for me. I hope everybody has a safe week. Couple locks. I like Minnesota over Dallas. If you're looking for a money line, Joker mode, light your money on fire. Minnesota at home, money line against Dallas. Keep it in your brain. Keep it in your brain. Both teams coming off buys. I really like Minnesota. I do. I think Dallas is. I'm high on Dallas, but I think Dallas is able to be let down here and there. And I think it's worth taking that risk on Minnesota beating them. So just want to put that on audio. Yeah, again, I'm at Glen Rockney. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. YouTube only. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, do all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, Manscaped. I'm not sponsored by Manscaped, but I'm tired of guys telling me how hairy and disgusting their fucking pubes are. I got friends that are sponsored by Manscaped. Some of my friends are just very minimal with their things. Some guys are like, yo, dude, I have dreadlocks coming off of my dick. It's fucking disgusting. Nobody fucks me ever. And then I bought Manscaped and now I get lots of pussy. It's such a weird marketing campaign. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear about PFF guys shaving their pubes. It's insane. It's weird. It has to stop. All right, guys.